Hi folks, this is video number 162. What I was thinking at the time, episode 5. The title of the episode is 100 Geese. This story is kind of a continuation of video 56, a short story about an evening hunt with Duke, my golden retriever. We lived in Westgate Development on Russell Hill. Up behind the development was a huge field. On this particular late afternoon, a large flock of Canadian geese made a big circle and landed up in the field. It was waterfowl season. I had a stamp, and with the check of my watch, there was an hour and a half of shooting time left. I grabbed my gear and put Duke on his lead. There was a couple acres of buffer around the development. There was a tractor lane through the center connecting fields. Duke and I slowly worked our way up the hill along the north side of the woods, trying to locate the geese. Finally, we spied the geese. I made a quick count and judged there to be about 100 geese. Of course, they were out of range. We needed to be on the south side of the wood patch. The geese were milling around in a fairly condensed group on the west side and centered in a big field. Duke and I eased back to the tractor lane and used it to quickly get to the south side. Once there, Duke and I slowly crawled up the hill, using the trees and high grass for cover. We were super quiet and moved carefully, but to my amazement, the geese were no longer in a tight group. What we saw was a little weird. The geese were now standing in what could best be described as a perfect fall-in military formation. There they were, all lined up, about a foot apart, in a perfect line running north and south. It was so uniform it appeared they may have done a dress-right move. There were two things wrong now. One, they were still out of range. Second, they were all looking at us. How we were detected from about 100 yards or more, I'll never know. It was getting late now, so I unloaded my shotgun and Duke and I just watched. If you've been in a developed housing area, there are usually runoff basins just outside of the complex. Cincinnati and surrounding suburbs have these little ponds everywhere. Geese are everywhere too. Sometimes, not long after sunrise, a goose will start to honk and get louder and faster until all the geese are honking. I call it the wake up and let's get the flock out of here call. It was close to sunset now. The sunset was beautiful. The sky was bright red and orange. The clouds looked gray and close to black against the orange and red rays. The geese started to honk. It was the get the flock out of here call. Duke and I just watched. The geese started to run and take off. All at the same time. Up they went, and then made a tight circle and came back. They flew right over us. I rolled on my back to watch. The geese had started to form a V and were silhouetted against the bright red and orange of the sky. Once again, I came home empty-handed, but my memory bank had just received a deposit. I loved hunting ducks and geese. Old Duke made that easy. He was the best. I always thought about painting that picture of the geese silhouetted as black birds flying below a red sky, but I haven't gotten around to it. The artist twinge in me hasn't come around for some time, but I did come across a picture of almost exactly what we saw. For those who can see it, it will be on the next panel. Thank you, Lord, for some great times and a great dog. Well, that concludes my little short story about 100 geese. All the best, folks. All the best.